Welcome, Flyers fans. You're listening to Chris Mayer, Flyers Fan Mania 93 on YouTube.
All right, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris, and today I'm back with another video here. Today, I have Flyers beat reporter and writer for NHL.com, Bill Meltzer. Bill, thank you for joining me. Appreciate it. How are you doing?
Doing well. How about you?
Good. So recently, obviously the Flyers I feel like they've played better recently than previous. Just to kind of start off, does it seem like to you the Flyers are faster? Because it's one thing I've kind of noticed recently since probably I'd say the game against Minnesota. It seems like they look faster, the way they're skating. They've been getting more odd man rush chances. So that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit is they've added some guys who can skate. Tippett particularly can really skate. Go back to the beginning of the season when Ryan Ellis was actually in the lineup that first week. People were saying, "Hey, the Flyers look faster," right? Yeah. Because the puck moves faster than anybody can skate. So if you move the puck well out of the back end, and you get up ice, play well in the neutral zone, so you're creating short ice situations, teams look faster. Right. And it's not just a question of pure speed. It's really just how you play. They have been playing fast. They've been playing faster, and it's I think that's a good observation because I think it's accurate. And and I don't think it's in your imagination either that they've had more odd man chances and more breakaways even.
Right. Yeah, I mean, in the last couple games alone, I think Hayes had one breakaway against Columbus at home. Tippett had two against the Rangers, had one in that game as well against Columbus. And then last night in the opening 2-3 minutes, Tippett and Hayes had a 2-on-1, almost sprung Hayes on a partial break from probably the hash marks in. Yep. So, I mean, it's no surprise. And I feel like those two have had a lot of chemistry. Obviously, me and you talked about that off the record as well. Back when they kind of switched up the lines and Frost kind of got that kind of bump up in the game against Columbus to play with Farabee and Atkinson. But obviously Frost is another guy. He's been so dynamic in so many ways. And last night he had a couple more of those plays where it kind of wows me every time he does it. He has that little drop pass between the legs to connect me. Obviously I posted that thread on Twitter with all those different plays that he had. It's the skating, the elusiveness with his hands. He's done a lot of that recently.
It's been his total game.
Yeah.
With Frost, I mean, he was drafted as an offensively dynamic, creative player. He's starting to get some points now. They're not coming in the volume that I think they'll eventually start coming. I think next year, you'll start seeing Frost score and set up plays with a little more regularity. Yeah. But even now, he had at the end of that 5-game road trip, right? He had that beautiful setup to Sanheim. It was the first period of a game, almost pulled off the same play later that game. The game against Minnesota, he scored. The game against Toronto, he was absolutely robbed by Campbell in the first period, almost like a shortstop diving in the hole for a ball. He came up with a save. And then in overtime against the Rangers, Shesterkin just robbed him point blank. That was a save that any other goalie in the league, they probably would have been beaten. But it's the guy who's going to win the trophy. I mean, that was just an unbelievable save. And then in the game, as you mentioned, he got bumped up to the top line for a game, and for those first 2 periods there, he was just motoring, just flying. He ended up with no points, but I mean, between 3 chances he set up, two of which were for Farabee. It's sometimes just not going to go in. Right. And then last night, as you mentioned, he won a faceoff cleanly. He ended up with an assist. He won 6 of 8 faceoffs. He's playing much better defensively, just playing with pace. I mean, you see a confident player. You can see hints of what the Flyers have been trying to develop in him. Right. And yesterday, I mean, I think if you leave him and Konechny on the same line, they'll be sure. Chemistry. So I mean, it's all good, right? Tippett's come on. Frost is showing signs. Cates already has a couple of goals. I think
Hayes has been much better too.
Yeah. Oh, Hayes is averaging a point a game since he's been back. Hayes is, that to me has been the biggest bright spot. If you had to pick one biggest bright spot since the All-Star break, that's been it, because Hayes Hayes looks like he did a couple of years ago. He's healthy again.
Exactly.
So that's a great sign.
Yeah, for sure.
You bring back if Couturier comes back healthy, then all of a sudden it's a pretty good forward group. I think you could still use another pure sniper in the mix.
Me too.
Something like that. But I mean, it's a better group. They shouldn't be at the bottom of the league offensively again.
No.
So it's too little, too late for this season. They're still going to draft high in the first round, but there are elements you can see potentially coming together, beyond this year.
No, for sure. And it's Hayes was one guy I kind of mentioned last night in my game recap. Was he's like, the way he's skating, he's able to drag the defenseman towards him, and that was something he used to do in 1920 all the time, and set guys like Konechny up when he played on a line with him majority of that year. Did it last night for Tippett, and Cates ended up driving the net, drew a penalty. And obviously Cates, as you mentioned, having a couple goals. He just seems like he's like always Johnny on the spot right there at the side of the net. And I honestly felt like last night was probably Ronnie Attard's best game overall. Yeah. He just looks so much more comfortable. I felt like at times in the first couple of games, obviously it's, the whole situation with Yandel that night and then him coming in. I feel like there was a little bit of unnecessary pressure that was kind of put on Attard to be like, oh, well, if he doesn't play well, then he's just going to get crap for Yandel sitting. And I saw that a good amount on Twitter as well. But again, Cates and Attard, I feel like those have been two guys that they've played well. They've done their job. And as I said, I felt like Attard last night, he was definitely most comfortable out of all the games he's played so far.
I think so. I think Attard settled in a little bit yesterday. He even other games he showed some moments.
Yeah.
He had did get his first point the game before that, but it's he's not trying to do yesterday. He wasn't trying to do too much. Like in the game before that, the first game against Columbus, he did that play where you step up on the play to make a hit up ice, puck goes past you, all of a sudden it's a 2-on-1.
Yeah.
It's a learning experience because sometimes you could do that in the college game or lower levels. Don't do that in the NHL because once you're on the wrong side of the puck, you're probably not going to recover.
Yeah.
So it's something he can learn from. I mean, he can still learn about playing on the power play at the pro level. All those, there's still a lot to learn. But I did think yesterday he looked a lot more poised and a lot more. I don't know. Again, just keeping things simple, I think, helped for him.
Yeah, for sure. Did him going on the power play? Honestly, that kind of surprised me a little bit. Him getting the power play right away. Was that something you were thinking as well, or no?
Well, I mean, he has the big shot. We really haven't seen much of yet. But yeah, I didn't think he was going to go immediately on the power play. I thought he was going to get a chance to settle in a little bit. Maybe in the last game or two of the season, you try him on the power play and something for the future. I mean, I personally would like to see Travis Sanheim stay on the power play.
I was just going to say that because Attard's actually had more, I believe has had more power play time, and since he made his debut than Sanheim has, I think, all season, if I'm being honest. I obviously I'd have to go back and look at the numbers, but I think it's pretty close. But it's just weird because they've used Ristolainen for the big shot, but they kind of put him in net front. So it's like there's been different areas of that. So I honestly was kind of surprised by that. But kind of going into tomorrow against Anaheim, obviously the big ceremony for Lou Nolan. Bill, obviously, Lou Nolan's been around for a long time since the team started. Do you have any funny, really good Lou Nolan stories?
Well, yeah. I mean, having met, getting to know Lou is one of the best things about having made the transition from fan to the media side.
Right.
And I remember being a kid and we play street hockey. And we would imitate Gene Hart or whatever too, but one of us would score a goal and then we'd imitate Lou Nolan and then doing the goal call, right?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And then seeing Lou many times over the years, whether at the Wells Fargo Center and the commissary or at alumni events, I think that he's genuine. He takes a genuine interest in you. and he's I mean, he's just an unbelievably good guy. And Lou remembers people, and he meets a lot of people. But Lou remembers people, and I mean, if you can't like Lou Nolan, the problem is with you. I mean, it's impossible. It's impossible not to like Lou. If I had to pick one favorite memory of Lou, I think it was a couple of years ago. The Flyers Warriors were playing the game at the Wells Fargo Center. It was against the Pittsburgh Warriors, and it was the Warriors' first real game in preparation for the USA Warrior Classic. And so Lou did the PA, of course, didn't get a cent for it or whatever. It was okay, just to do the right thing and give it that professional feel. And they have an anthem, so Lou sang the anthem too. And that I think is my favorite one, is Lou doing the anthem.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that, because I remember when me and you were covering the Warrior Classic this past year, and they were playing Colorado on Friday night, and the Colorado player was going back at Lou. And I remember me and you were talking about that at the same time. And then, as I tweeted the other day, I believe it was the alumni game this year, but I was nervous as all hell going into that. I don't know why. I think it was just like a different kind of feel. It wasn't an actual Flyers game. It was a different event. I didn't know how it was going to be upstairs. And I get on the elevator, and Lou's in there, and we were just talking like for, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes. And as we were walking, and I tweeted this, like, all my nerves went away. And it was just like, I felt like I was completely fine. It was over. And then I was so comfortable throughout the rest of the night. And it's so true what you said. He makes you, he's a very genuine guy, really nice. And it's awesome that the Flyers are doing that for him on Saturday night. So again, the Flyers will take on the Ducks tomorrow. Obviously the season's a little, obviously it's different. The Flyers aren't really in a playoff spot mathematically out, but is there anything that you want to see for tomorrow?
Well, Flyers actually, last game against Columbus, even the game before that, the first two periods, I thought the Flyers really played good hockey in 4 of their last 6 periods. I just want to see them play the right way. And if they do get ahead, even games they've won this year, they've had a lot of games where they've had difficulty closing them.
Yeah.
Right. Or if they get into the third period tied, they've struggled to win those games.
Right.
If they're in win a period, win a game territory, or trying to close a game out, just want to see them do it the right way. It's not about the points or the wins and losses at this juncture. And I mean, they're gonna finish about where they're gonna finish. They're not gonna have the highest odds in the draft lottery. Yeah. I mean, I think this is game 72 tomorrow.
72, yes.
So there'll be 10 more after this one. However many you win, just play it with energy, play it with play it as if it means something.
Right.
And take just carry the right attitude through the rest of the season. And there are going to be changes this offseason. There's a lot of uncertainty. We didn't even talk about Ryan Ellis uncertainty for a whole segment, right? But so there's a lot of things they need to figure out. But as a team, just show that you have elements that can come together, and that's really all I'm looking for.
For sure, yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, I feel like injuries and special teams you could talk about for maybe a 2-3 episode kind of breakdown, because that's how rough it's been this year. One quick thing, Bill. Flyers Warriors walk is coming up. If anybody else, if you're interested in going, I'll put a link in the description below if you want to check that out. Bill, thank you as always. I really do appreciate it. As I said, you can check out Bill on NHL.com. He's great on Twitter all the time. Bill Meltzer. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate it.
Always my pleasure, Chris.
All right. Have a good one, everyone. And I will talk to you all again soon.